Not like that, bruh. Not like that. Japan have just gotten knocked out by Brazil 2-1 in the first round of knockouts. And for all the Japanese fans who might be watching, zanen desu ne. That's tough. Like, subscribe, all the good algorithm stuff, and let's get into it because this one was heartbreaking. You don't know how hot it is right now in New York, but I had to put on the depression hoodie because I was really rooting for Japan in this World Cup. As you know, or you might know, or might not know, I do cover the J.League a little bit on this channel, and I just want the sport to continue to grow and for us to at least get some more consistent coverage of the J.League over here in the US. So I just want Japan to go as far as possible, similar to how I feel about the US going as far as possible. And they really had a chance here. I mean, I picked them to beat Brazil, maybe a bit optimistic, but if you look at the balance of this game, of course Brazil dominated. Of course Brazil deserved to win if you just look at the numbers. But the game plan from Japan, absorb that pressure and press when there's a mistake, capitalize on that opportunity. It was working beautifully up until a certain point, but you really can only do that for so long against a team with this much talent. If you want to look at that first goal, Sano, the the interception for him to win the ball, drive forward himself. Casemiro can't catch up. Gabriel is running and twerking on it. I don't know what he's doing. For me, I don't view Gabriel as a center back who's going to run when someone's coming at him. That was odd for me to watch him just backing up off the ball. And Sano takes it himself, a nice strike into the corner from outside the box. And Japan 1-0 up against Brazil in the knockout stages. Maybe they felt similar to how they against Belgium, I think in 2018, they were up 2-0 and lost that game. Nothing is safe in these games against these nations that should win, but for them to protect that lead for as long as they did, I really thought they had a chance. But Casemiro, after having a disaster class of a first half, as he was the one who gave the ball away and couldn't catch up to Sano after that. Ancelotti, got to give him his credit. He stuck with Casemiro in that second half, and immediately you can see Brazil coming out, swinging in crosses. And for me, honestly, I'm going to give him his credit. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that Brazil would dominate Japan in the air. I mean, look at the two teams. It's not a shock, but you still have to give it to Ancelotti to be the one to say, okay, let's switch up how we're approaching this game. We can't break them down. It seems like let's just swing some crosses in. And immediately you see Brazil start to get chances. And eventually, Gabriel on the edge of the area swings a cross in. Casemiro on the end of it. 1-1 Brazil, Japan. And from there, it kind of felt like it was only ever going to go one way unless Japan just held on and survived. But it was rough. It was like an avalanche after that. More crosses in, more chances. Vini went through at one point, beat his defenders, and just tried to toe poke one to the far post. But Suzuki, I want to give him his credit. I don't know if the score is going to give him his credit. I mean, it gives him his credit, to be fair, 7.2. Suzuki made an insane save. He had a couple good saves in this game. Obviously, Allison's the better keeper, but he didn't have as much to do. Suzuki really made some good saves in this game. And, New Jersey native, I got to give him a shout out. But that was a big save off the post. Vinny denied, but still, it wasn't enough in the end as Gabriel Martinelli, the dagger. First off, I just got to say, they were this close, like 40 seconds away, I think, from just seeing that out, getting the extra time. Do they probably still concede an extra time? I wouldn't be surprised. But Tanaka, who came on, and Tanaka's a good player. I mean, he's destroyed Chelsea in the league this season for Leeds. So I've become a little familiar with him, unfortunately. So I don't want to rag on him, and I saw how much it hurt him after the game to be responsible. But he gets the ball on the edge of Japan's area and doesn't get rid of it, gets pickpocketed, falls to Bruno G. And Bruno G, I know Casemiro gets man of the match. To me, honestly, even though he got the header and he was great in the second half, he still did have a poor first half. So it's kind of rough to give him man of the match over Bruno G, who that ball in to Martinelli. Just the awareness, the quality to play the ball, find the pass, the weight of it. Martinelli's able to get the touch, get the finish. Suzuki can't keep it out, and Brazil snatch a late winner over Japan, and it's heartbreak. It's honestly heartbreak. I mean, for Brazil, it's amazing, but this is what they should be doing. They shouldn't be going life and death with Japan. But still, I want to give Brazil their credit because not a lot of people gave them a chance to really win this thing. So you got to win the games in front of you. But for Japan, they have their 100-year plan to win the World Cup. This is another step in it, but unfortunately for them, they still have yet to win a knockout game in the World Cup. They don't really get the easiest chances to do it, to be fair to them. I mean, they had to go through a group with the Netherlands and Sweden. Second in that group faces Brazil. There's some groups where second are just getting fodder. And to be fair, first in that group faces Morocco. So that group was just, and you could say the same for Brazil and Morocco's group. That's just a rough matchup. But for them, at the first time of asking to come up against the greatest nation in the history of the sport, maybe not in their pomp right now, but still, it's unfortunate. And Japan will now have to go back to the drawing board. Of course, they weren't fully healthy. I don't want to completely make excuses. Brazil isn't fully healthy either. But Brazil, you would hope, have more depth. Japan actually have decent depth. Maybe not if you say the quality, the level of the names, but just in terms of the number of players who can function well in this Moriyasu system, they have a decent amount. He uses a lot of different players across qualifying and friendlies just to test things out. And you can see a lot of players can plug and play and not really drop off too much. But at a certain point, if you're real difference makers going forward, like a Mitoma, like a Minamino, that's gonna hurt you going forward against Brazil, who really dominated the play. Japan, one thing I didn't love is they just sent it forward every time they intercepted the ball. At a certain point, I was thinking, okay, you can do that for some time, but at a certain point, you have to try just to catch them off guard if they commit too many bodies forward and put together a little string of passes on a counter and maybe beat them 2-1 late in the game. But they just kept sending it forward. And the few chances they did have where they actually were on a counter, quality just wasn't there. You might think if they have a Mitoma, if they have a Minamino, they can make something happen. Even Kubo, who is on the bench because he's not fully fit, that could have been something where or you can see them making a difference in this game, even not having their captain Endo. I mean, it is rough for them, but at the end of the day, they didn't get the job done. It is heartbreaking. Congratulations to Brazil moving forward. I mean, who do they face next? I think, if I'm not mistaken, they face. It's not. I don't think it's easy for them, even if they get through yet. They face Cote d'Ivoire or Norway. Spooky, spooky. These teams, hey, Japan don't have necessarily the quality going forward to really make them pay on a counter. But if you give Norway the chance to hit you on the break with Holland, spooky season. If you give Cote d'Ivoire the chance to hit you on the break with, say, Yan Diomande, spooky season. Brazil gonna have to fix up because that performance, you could say they dominated the game, and they did. You could say they won the game, and of course they did. But that performance isn't really inspiring confidence in me for how far they're gonna go in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat one of these two teams, but then maybe in England, they're not gonna dominate every team in the air the way they just did Japan. I mean, they have Casemiro and Gabriel, so they still have chances, but it'll be interesting to see just how far Brazil go because this side of the bracket has some interesting teams in it. I mean, this one Argentina you would think will run through, and I did my health predictions yesterday, but man, the dream is over for Japan. It was fun while it lasted. But we'll see what happens next in the knockout stages of this World Cup. Like, subscribe, all the good algorithm stuff, like I said earlier. Drop a comment. What do you think about this game? And what do you think Brazil's going to do moving forward? And that's it. Peace.